Hello and welcome to our podcast, It's Not All Black and White.
My name is Cera, I'm black.
I'm Matthew, I'm white. This is the Interracial Couple Podcast, and welcome.
And I guess this is how we record on the era of COVID-19.
So here we are, you and I are not social distancing at all. In fact, we're almost a little too close for comfort, to be totally honest. It's a good thing that we're allowed to do this. And here we are with our little masks, which I have to be honest, I go on walks a couple times a day, and walking with this thing is kind of difficult. So I hate to sort of say this publicly, but I kind of do the half-ass thing, which is might as well not be doing it at all, because I'm walking and I just kind of slide this thing down so that I'm not like breathing all that CO2 into my lungs.
I know, it's so uncomfortable. I can't even do it for the entire, this podcast. Oh.
All right, well, there
Mine's
we go.
cute though, with
it is
this
cute.
African fabric.
Yours is nice. Mine, I'll say, has I don't want to be mean to the person who made it, but it doesn't look like they really took great pride in their craftsmanship on this. But it works, and most importantly, it keeps me from getting beaten up by the police when I go for a walk.
And also, it's fair enough. It was 50 cents.
It was 50 cents.
So
I don't even know. I'm really suspect as to whether or not these things do much good. First of all, because we don't use them properly. Secondly, I don't even know what kind of material this is. But it's the part that I do. I wear it.
I think if you're gonna wear a mask that you're not even gonna wear properly, just make it cute with an African fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we're speaking of looking cute, this week, one thing that's come up for us has been the question of marriage. And it came up really for, multiple reasons. But one is one of our interns said, well, when are you going to actually get married? Because we've been living in Kenya now for going on a year and a half. And in Kenya, common law marriage kicks in after 6 months. So we're now an old married couple as far as Kenyan common law is concerned. But, we have, there's no rings.
Nope.
And no ceremony. And no wedding registry yet. No wedding gifts yet. So that's one way we're really clear we haven't gotten married is we don't have the wedding gifts. But then also you have a family member who recently got engaged. And so, of course, as soon as one family member gets engaged, every other family member who's in a couple automatically has this bright spotlight shown on them.
Yeah. So the question has been,
when are you getting married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to get married? So that's what we're going to answer on this podcast.
Whoa. That was a whole lot more than I bargained for. I didn't know that we were going to answer that question on this podcast. I'm now seriously in the spotlight, which is,
It's 2020, and I also have I feel like I get to decide that too. If I want to get married, it's not just.
Oh, so you're going to go down on your knee and you're going to get me a pretty ring.
I can.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You're not on the spotlight. We're both on the spotlight.
That's great because, so when are we going to get married? Or why are we not married? Why aren't we married? Let's start there.
Okay. I think there's a couple reasons I would say we are not married. I think a few of them is where it's not where I am at right now.
As in, no, getting married is not a priority.
It's not a priority right now. I'm in the middle of building my business. My entire energy, my money goes into building this business. Mm-hmm. So for me, is my priority right now is having a thriving business and hiring people and developing work for my fellow Kenyans. Yeah. So that's where all my energy goes.
So it's just simply not a priority. I think, I don't actually feel that there's a big pressure for it. And I think one of the things is almost why is there this pressure? And I think that it shows up in different, in different ways for different people. I have to say, going back, when you were going to move in with me, right? I still had kids living at home. So you moving in was already there was a commitment that was sort of almost bigger than marriage in some ways, right? or at least as big. You know, we really came into each other's lives in a way that for our communities and our families, that was it was a very clear thing. So I think marriage is, you know, is probably in our future, but we also committed in a way by moving in together and then moving to Kenya together, starting businesses together. We've really intertwined our lives in a way that I almost have to come back and say, like, why is this idea of marriage so important? Like, where does that come from? You know, also particularly at this point in our lives, you know, why is it important? I don't know.
Tax reasons.
Oh, you know, or is it, you know, I mean, I've read somewhere, it was probably in a movie or something, but like people get married when they run out of things to say. I think that was like some comedian was just like, oh, well, we have no more things to say. There's an awkward moment. It's like, okay, I better go get married, or I better go get engaged so that we have something to talk about.
I also think that one of the reasons that we're not married is like we don't have family pressure to get married. Some people really have family pressure to get married, you know. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, yeah, my mom sometimes will ask like, when am I getting married? You know, my American family will ask like, when am I getting married? But there isn't. You can feel it in their question. Is not like it's not a pressure. It's just a question. Right. And I think for some people that is a really huge thing. Like, getting married is like they're expected to get married. Yeah. You know, for me, I think I've trained everyone in my family that, you know, that was not a priority in my life. Getting married is not an achievement to me.
It's not an achievement, actually, and I think you're right. There's certainly sometimes this expectation that it is, you know, particularly probably more for women than for men. But there are also a lot of men who actually feel like being married is an important milestone, and I can certainly honor that. You know, I can honor that because I understand that. You know, and I just said that I don't necessarily understand why it's important, but I also, on the other side, I do see why it's important. There is a sort of this proclamation, and I think when people get married, there's this thing of saying like, well, let me back up actually, because there's two pieces. One is that once you're married, there's almost this expectation, okay, that's good now, right? They've got it, you know, which is actually not the case, because a relationship continues to grow and evolve, one hopes. And if it does, that also means there's going to be new leveling up of challenges. And so, you know, ideally when you get married, you say, hey, yeah, we're in this for the long haul. We're not going to give up easily. But, you know, and so I wanted to say that you then kind of create this space where your friends and your family members can say, yeah, we're going to hold you. Like, we're going to, if you need help, you know, ask us, we're there for you. You know, we know it's not always easy, but at the same time, while you're kind of putting that out, saying, okay, hey, you know, we're committed for the long haul. The other thing is, and maybe this is also where some of the challenges come in marriage, is that I should know what I'm doing now that I'm married. We shouldn't have difficulties. We shouldn't have like all of a sudden communication breaks down and I have no idea how to restart it again. Like, that's totally normal, but yet somehow there's this expectation, oh, if you're married, you should like know how to deal with those issues. You shouldn't come to these huge surprises, you know? And yeah, you're going to be surprised with who you've married after you've been together for a period of time, because we are so complex, we're so deep, and as we move on, like new things get sort of unearthed within us that now we have to challenge. And so if someone's like, oh my God, I had no idea that this is the person I married. Well, no, that's not even that they were lying or that you were blind or whatever. Is that we actually grow and change and new things emerge. You know, so I see why marriage is valuable, but on the other hand, like, I know a lot of people that have been married, or not married, but have been together for years or even decades and never got married, because why? They had that commitment. It is real without a ceremony, or maybe even without a ring or whatever.